Yes, sir, folks. Welcome to Food for Action. We got a lot to talk about today. Welcome to Food for Action. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm a little bit early, and that's because I have a very special guest coming on today. Big time. Mark 357 is going to be with me today. So we're gonna chop it up a little bit. You guys will still be able to, type in some questions and or comments and so on. But most of the show is going to be dedicated to introducing my folks, my friends, to Mach 357, who will be joining me shortly. A lot of things to talk about. I want to first, let me mute this music for a minute. One of the first things I want to say, it's very important that I say this again, and I mean this in no uncertain terms. This is a very, very important topic to me, and this is personal to me. So I've asked it a few times. Now I'm going to ask it with more force behind it. I want everybody to be able to take advantage of this platform. I want everybody to be able to express themselves. I don't care if it's something I like or not, if it's something you like or not, whatever. This is about a conversation, and we're all supposed to be receptive to others' opinions, feelings, and such. What I've been finding out lately, because I'm 100% myself manning the platform, and so I'm reading through comments that people are making. Some people are saying things positive. People are saying things in agreement or disagreement, whatever. It's all a part of the conversation. That's supposed to happen. What I cannot tolerate any longer is people calling names, people bullying, people casting aspersions on other people that are within the stream or posts, stems, or whatever the heck else you want to call them. This is not a platform for that. If you have valid points, then please make your valid points to each other. Name calling, bullying, chastising, those things aren't allowed on here, and I'm going to have to start limiting those folks on my page. I can't. It's not fair to people who are doing it the proper way, that are doing it in a respectful way. It's not fair for me to allow that to keep going on. I'm not concerned with what people say to me. I'm fine. I'm built for that. I guess that's why God gave me this to do. But other people should not come on to my page and have to be bullied by people who don't share the same opinions. We all have different experiences, and so because of that, that's just a normal thing, that we're going to find some people that we agree with and some people we don't. And so I have to say it, and I'm going to say it a few times tonight because it's very important that that people understand that I have said this several times so far. If you're seeing this later on, after the live broadcast, if you're seeing it later, then please make sure that the name calling and all that stuff to people while you're having conversations under this platform, under my post, please do not do the name calling or bullying thing. It's very important. You're going to hear some weirdness in my voice today because I am struggling a little bit, and I just had to take some medicine, so so it makes my throat feel weird for a minute. But anyways, but it's very important that everybody is respectful to one another on this platform. If you can't do that, if that's not your MO, then please join somebody else's platform. But this is the last time that I'm going to request this in a nice, cool way. After this, anybody who does that, anybody who starts name calling or harsh, ridiculous chastising or anything that's out of the conversation. In other words, if you're putting things on people, like I said, casting aspersions or whatever on people that's negative, harsh, and disrespectful, anything that happens like that, and I'm going to have to remove you from the platform. I'm going to have to cancel you, and that's the one thing that I did not want to do. I've been putting up and accepting whatever anybody wants to say to me. But I can't let that keep happening to other people that are faithful watching and faithful in trying to fight racism, because that's what this platform is for. And if you're not about that, and you can't be respectful about expressing yourself, then I'm going to have to let you go to whoever else you want to deal with, where that is acceptable. But it's not acceptable here. So, again, this is Food for Action. Hold on, let me drink something hot. My Smunchkin bought me, my daughter, she bought me a Keurig, one of the good ones. And so I'm back to drinking coffee again. It's freaking like I needed any more energy. But anyways, so I'll start with the mission statement, Food for Action. We and I, or I and we, acknowledge and express racial divide, racism, oppression, exploitation, systemic racism, and violence against black women, black men, and black youth in the United States and all over the world. I and we will proactively help create a path to a true and united state in America. That is the mission statement. That is what we're here to achieve. And every person, from the hundreds that watch this each time we're on, either during the show or after, you will find, if you go back over the old episodes and such, some of them have 5 parts, 2 parts, 3 parts, but through it all, the whole thing is to try to invoke a conversation between people of every mindset, of every belief system, of every walk of life, and bring these folks together, everybody, so that we can engage in a conversation that promotes unity, love, peace, like God created us. There is no segregated heaven, so I don't know what happens in hell. Don't plan on going there. But in heaven, it is not segregated, and so God did not intend for His earth and His children to promote segregation, systemic racism, bigotry, or anything like that, hateful thing like that. So that is the mission of Food for Action. The point of the conversation is for the conversation to go from a simple point of, had to pull this closer, a simple point of, it's going to go from a simple point of talking and analyzing and processing to the next phase, which would be an action. I don't want this to be some place where people gather on Wednesdays and Sundays and all you're doing is hearing and talking and chatting, and then till I see you again on Wednesday, nothing happens and we're not being effective within our communities. That be work, school, home, family, friends, what have you. So this is supposed to encourage folks to have the conversation and carry the ideas outside of this platform so that we can all help get rid of racism in America. As I keep going, I see plenty of people that are tuning in and then logging in and logging off. So whenever you do get in here, please say hi. Again, I have a special guest coming on in a little bit here, about 6-7 minutes or so. His name is Mach357. He's an incredible dude. I mean, he's an incredible brother. You know, he does a lot for the black community, young folks. He had done some, has history in radio shows from New York to Texas, and he does all kind of. He's just an amazing brother, and he hosts this show called the evening experience. You can see it on Instagram, and on his show, he interviews major stars, um, actors, actresses, singers, musicians, um, authors, activists, so on. Just like what I'm doing now, he's been doing it for years. So I'm the baby in this thing, and he is the seasoned pro. And so he's going to be joining us in a few minutes, Mach 357, and he's going to kill you with some knowledge. And so it's going to be awesome to have him here. If you have any young folks with you, you know, teenagers and on up, have them dial in and come sit next to the computer with you, because this dude he's kid friendly, and and um, and it's nothing but positive out of this brother. And so I think there'll be something that everybody can gain through this. Whether you're watching it live, or if you're watching it, excuse me, or if you're watching it later on. And I need to. But yeah, so this is going to be a good scenario today. It's going to be awesome. Where did I put his number? Let me see. I forgot I had to do this part, but here we go. Hold on 1 second with me. So, anyways, as soon as he joins in on the conversation and lets me know that he's here, I will be able to dial him in the conversation and introduce you guys to Mac 357. He is, like I said, an incredible, positive, influential influencer, and he gets to chop it up with incredibly blessed and amazing stars. In every genre of entertainment, and so he's going to bless us today, and that's going to be awesome. So once I see that he says hello and that he's here, I'm going to bring him on in, and we can get this party rocking. Excuse me. Dun, 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 dun. I hope you guys like the new thing that I started today called Trump-lamatic. Whoops. I'm doing a new thing called Trump-lamatic. And what I've done during some of my research is I've gone back and I've researched some of the many comments, some of the many situations that Trump has been in over the years since the 70s, where he has been a negative influence in the country, and I have things all the way up until till actually yesterday. So I'm going to be adding a few of those each day, and I call that little thing, I call it Trump-lamatic. And if you look up the definition for matic, you'll understand why I did that. So it's really going to be hopefully eye-opening to a lot of people, especially with the vote, the election coming up, and so I'm looking forward to seeing people's responses, because I've already seen some, and you'd be surprised. Oh, and let me tell you, while I'm waiting for Mac to join the conversation, we're definitely going to talk about a couple of characters, the two Cox brothers, or I don't know if they're brothers or not. Their last names are spelled the same. I'm going to assume, because they're both always joining. They're usually joining and trolling, I guess people call it. There you go, my man. So let me bring Mac in, and I'll explain the Cox brothers to you in a minute. So let me get him on the line. I'm excited about this. This is going to be awesome. I'm about to video him in. So this should be pretty cool. Calling him now. It is ringing. Yes, sir. How you doing, brother?
Not bad in yourself.
I'm good, man. This is definitely a privilege and a blessing to have you with me today. Whoops, I just lost you off my screen. Man, I'm like an amateur. Hold on a second. You there?
I'm still here.
Okay, yeah. So let me oh, there it is. Okay. Thanks. Got it. I wanted to get you back on here so everybody else can see. So first of all, um, man, it's a pleasure, Mr. Mac 357. How are you today?
I am great, sir. I am just peachy keen, as they say.
I have been giving you massive kudos just now to everybody, trying to explain some of your some of your um,
Platform.
yeah, and so I'm wondering if maybe you can kind of just from you kind of give people a little bit more depth into where you come from. What's your background? Because I gave you
Uh,
mad props.
I appreciate it. I'm a radio host. I've been in radio for off and on for about 9 years. The last 4 years straight. I facilitated to start off on another show that wasn't mine, and I worked a lot of different shows, and a couple of them were mine. But this one is called the Evening Experience. The Evening Experience is a show that came about from an idea. It's in the evening, and you experiencing us, experiencing you.
Right.
Takes the opportunity to give people, and when I say that, of all different walks of life, celebrities, up and coming artists, um, authors, business people, or anybody who has something that fits our platform, the opportunity to come on and talk about some of the things that they are passionate about, that they may have accolades for, or that things that they want to for people to learn about.
Right.
And then I take the opportunity and interview them and ask them about those specific things and give them the opportunity to learn, for my audience to learn about who they are and what they do.
Right. Man, listen, I know that I did, as you know that I do already. We talked about it, but I do like mad research all the time, and so I've been like researching some of the people that you've talked to, and you always have this incredibly loving uh, sharing. It's like you always lead your conversations with the folks that you interview. You lead it in a way to make sure that your listeners or viewers are going to get something positive out of it to take with them, and not just it's just not just you chopping it up with the dude or the lady or the woman, but you're literally making a lesson or something being taught, something that you're kind of planting seeds into people with your interviews.
I appreciate you saying that, but that is the whole purpose because there are people who are up and coming, maybe in the same field that this person has been doing for over God knows how many years. Like um, my last guest that I just had on was Peter Pyros. He's been on Knight Rider. He's been
Yeah.
on Children. He's been on Young and the Restless. He's been in
Yep.
a lot of movies and shows.
Yep.
And you know, it's one thing for me to talk about everything that he's done, but there's somebody who's watching who's an actor or who's thinking about acting.
Right.
Why not give them something that can push them in the direction that they really want to go? Like
Yeah,
if you have a passion, you need to explore that passion. Um,
absolutely.
Not to the point where you go broke, but to the point where you fulfilled it in your life. Nothing should hinder what you feel that you want to do or that you should do, and you never took the opportunity to do it. Now, you may try it and not work out, but at least you tried it.
Right. Listen, I also give me 1 second. So anybody who keeps on popping in and out, or those of you who are watching the show later, you're having the privilege to listen to someone I would like to call my friend now, Mac 357. He's a radio personality. He is a host of the Evening Experience. You can check it on Instagram. Are there other outlets where they can watch the show?
I have my own website. website, theeveningexperience.com. I have
Eveningexperience.com. Go ahead.
yeah. I also have the Evening Experience YouTube page. I also have the Evening Experience on Instagram, on
So what?
Twitter with the
What?
expert.
So what we're gonna do? What we're going to do, I'm sorry for interrupting, must be a lag in time. What we're going to do is make sure that I get all of your links, and then I'm going to make sure that I share those, multiple times, from this point till the moment I pass to heaven. Because I think it's important that I'm an up and comer in this field. I spent my life doing music, so I went all the way around the world with music, and then I got sidelined, as you know, and so I'm trying to learn it. And so you're like a mentor now. So you better expect like 100,000 phone calls from me. But tell me. This is one question that I have to ask everybody, and it's kind of a prerequisite for this show because, as you know, this show is a show that kind of formulates around fighting against racism, bringing more white folks to the table, like some of the folks that are marching and so on now, bringing more folks into it to join the fight and be what I call, and a lot of people now call, anti-racists. And we're trying to create some of those folks, not just people that sit on the sidelines and talk about I'm not a racist, but people who are actually actively joined in the fight with us. So one of the things that I'm trying to do, I want to always introduce with my guests is the question of what was your first memory, doesn't matter when, your first one impacted memory of racism that you identified in your life.
I've dealt with not as much and as often as certain people. I'll never forget I was in my friend's backyard. It was late night. I used to go down to his house and, help out cleaning up or whatever the case in the yard. And I cleaned up the yard and we came out and apparently the cops were looking for someone.
Uh-huh.
Now, I knew they were looking for someone, but everybody who was outside with me was already inside. And I was walking up to the porch out of the backyard, and apparently he was startled because of the fact that he didn't hear me move.
Okay.
And then, of course, he had his weapon out. He drew it, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I said, "What does it look like I'm doing?" I said, "You see a rake in my hand. You see a shovel. You see equipment. What do you think I was doing?" "Just answer the question." I said, "I did answer the question." I said, "You didn't like my answer." The guy turned around and said, "You SPICs, you SPICs,
Yikes.
need to know your place." I said, "Excuse me?" And this was I was young and brash, so I didn't have no fear.
All right.
I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "You better watch your mouth, man." And then his boy grabbed him, and then they hopped back in the car, and then they took off.
Yeah. See, and let me tell you, and these things are. It's funny. I like to hear people's experiences because the people that we're trying to affect and have them join this fight, they usually have such a deniable stance to all of this, where it's the minute you mention racism, they just don't want to believe anything that you're saying when you tell them a story and so on. And that's what I went through for many years. I actually had somebody just recently ask me, why did I just start doing this? Why did I just start posting? And I said, I used to talk about this, and I say it on several of the episodes, I used to talk about this all the time growing up when these things would happen because of the neighborhoods we lived in. And nobody thought it was true. And so eventually I kind of gave up talking about it and just started doing my music thing. And then I became successful doing that. And so it took some heartbreak for me to enter the game again. And sorry to call it a game, but it took me some heartbreak for it to get me to this point, which I believe is a blessing. And God marks your steps, and so it all happens for a reason that way. So listen, So when when you pick your guests, because you have such a wide variety of folks, how do you pick? Like what your like, what's your thinking?
So I'm glad you asked that question. Not everybody makes it to the show. Not everybody makes it on my platform. There's people who have asked me, "Yo, can I be a guest?" I listen to their music or I listen to what they're trying to put out there, and I go, "I'm sorry, your particular style or your particular doesn't fit my platform," and it doesn't. Um, and I say that to be, you know, 100% transparent, so they're not guessing as to. And I'm not trying to put down what you're doing. If you feel it's the best thing in the world, by all means, right?
Right, right,
I'm not going to stop what you're doing, but it doesn't fit for what I want.
right,
And if I'm trying to motivate and as you say, leave jewels or trying to help people to grow or whatever, in any case, I can't have certain things um, sit on my platform. I don't care if you're famous or not. It does, and I tell people this all the time. Like I don't look at it from a standpoint like you're a famous person.
right.
Our president of the United States or the person who considers himself the president. I don't. If he said for his people to reach out to me to want him on the show, I would tell him no.
Right about that. High five on that one, no doubt.
Did it? To you, he wouldn't like anything I said to him. He would hate every moment, every minute that I was on. I would literally be like, first of all, you are armed clown. Nobody likes you. Hates your guts. You lie and tell people that you've done stuff for the economy. You have nothing to back up the statements you say. You say stuff with shock value, and you use that as a way of making a ripple effect to make people believe that you've done something.
Right.
You haven't anything intrinsic. People outside of the country dislike you and laugh at you and call you names because they think you're not the president of the United States. They think you're a joke. As well as people in the country can't stand you, don't like you, think you're a piece of trash, and you should go out by the wayside and not ever come back.
Right.
You proved how. But the one thing I will say that you did say, one thing in life that I've heard you say that was true. Oh, what's that? That you went on Oprah Winfrey. You said, I don't care if I killed somebody. If I wanted to be the president of the United States, I could be.
Yeah. That is an unfortunate truth, huh? It's funny.
He did.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I said he didn't lie.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. It's funny because it baffles me how how he is able to, like, I mean, I have to give him props because he has a talent for making blind people follow him, and so go ahead.
It's not a talent. It's not a talent. Back in the day, in the early 19th century, when this country was being settled with settlers and different other people going along the California and New York and all the different places, they had these guys who would tell people that they were doctors.
Right.
My name is Dr. Tom, and I got this elixir.
Yep.
Liquor with maybe a little mint or something else in it to give it this taste.
Right.
So people can lie, and if you're gullible enough, you will follow.
Right.
I use fiction. I'm sorry to say it like this, and I know I'm going to be, raked over the coals, but there are a lot of stupid people out in the world that will believe anything because they choose to believe it.
Right.
You can't tell me the sky is blue without giving me a scientific method to prove why it's blue.
Right. And then that's
the
one
ocean reflecting the sky that gives it the actual blue color that it is. Great. Now I got something that's scientific. Now, if you want to prove the science wrong, then show me.
Right. And it's sad that there's not enough people that feel the way that you're feeling or think the way that you're thinking. I think the same way. I'm like, I want to see the proof. I want to see the evidence. It's the same thing that I do when I have, because I told you how I have, and you said you saw some of my episodes, how I have different folks that chime in that have the most hateful opinions and views in the that but I let them speak because I want to know what they have to say. But there's never proof, and I always provide proof. If you
Right.
look at what I did to.
If you're wanting to admonish people, if you want to put them down, you will yell the loudest. You will say the most brashest thing. You will say the most shocking thing. But you're not saying anything that's truthful. You're just trying to say something. And I tell people this all the time. Don't say something just to say something.
Right.
If you're gonna say something, make it with purpose.
Yep.
Make it provable.
Yep.
Make it something that people can truly understand. Because if I stand there and go, rather, it means nothing.
Right.
It means, what I just said meant
right.
nothing. But if you said, please slow down and tell me, say that again and a little bit slower. Rather. Oh, yeah, that sounds like, that doesn't mean anything. Those are not even words, sir.
Right.
I'd be like, well, it meant something. And I said it.
Right.
And that's my, people will want to believe what they want to believe because truly in their hearts, that's how they want to get down. Like,
right.
There's some people who want to believe the best in everybody. I'm sorry. There's some things in people that are not good.
That's true.
And despite how much you want good in somebody, sorry.
That's the
trash.
Truth. That's the truth.
If you want to align with him, if you want to stay with him because you got some rose-colored glasses on, well, you keep the rose-colored glasses on. My glasses are clean and clear.
Absolutely.
And what I'm looking at is garbage. And it needs to be removed. And I'm not saying that Biden and
Kamala
Harris
yep.
is going to be, listen, you say Kamala, I say, you butchered 5,000 times. Miss Harris, I'll put it like that.
There you go.
Right, it makes it easier, right? Well, because I always like to get the interpretation of or the name from the person who's saying it. And I pronounce it correctly, and then I follow what they say.
True.
But is the best thing since sliced bread. The one thing I liked about what I recently seen online was Ice Cube saying, okay, you want them to be the next president and vice president? Cool. Get something from it. Don't just follow along like sheep.
Right.
And
right.
That you're not getting anything out of this. Get better laws. Get better business practices. Get better things that can happen for your businesses.
Right.
Ask for contracts to be placed in communities and areas that normally wouldn't get them.
Yep. Look, one of the things that I think is interesting is that I think a lot. Well, I don't know if a lot of people are doing it, but from what I can see, it looks like people are starting to really try to be quote unquote woke and not just faking it, and do want to see everybody prove their worth in this election. At least the people that I'm talking to. And I know that me personally, I want everybody to, they got to put it up when they get in there. It can't just be, you're not Donald Trump, so you're winning and then it's all good. There's plenty to be done. And if plenty doesn't start getting done, then I'm getting ready for the next election already. You know what I mean? And so it's got to be, there's got to be just like you were talking about purpose before, got to be a purpose to them winning the office too. It can't just be a singular purpose of let's get rid of Trump. It's got to be initiatives. It's got to be, like you said, there's got to be massive change to break up the systemic racism thing that's a foundation in this country. And if that kind of thing does not get started, and I'm talking about dang near immediately things happening, task force formed, whatever, independent groups formed to monitor these different things. If that's not happening from right away, then I have a problem with them too.
Listen, Dick Gregory said it best. When somebody has to lose something, that's when they take account of what they're doing.
Right.
Some will. He said most will. There might be the few that don't and still try to do what they want to do. But if you take away somebody's livelihood that they worked for over 20 years, they would be with the most pressed to change their actions.
Right.
And when I say that about, if you told a cop, if you go out and kill someone without having a way in which they are, if they are trying to take your life, then you have all rights as a law enforcement officer to protect and serve, to stop them. But if somebody you walking up on is not doing anything, and I mean, meaning they're not shooting at you, they're not trying to cut you, they're not swinging a bat at you, they're not trying to do anything to harm you physically,
right,
and you up on them, and you ask them to place their hands behind their back or anything else without you having probable cause, you will lose your pension and you will be fired.
Truth.
Now, if somebody had that line,
truth,
I guarantee you they would be more apropos to align with, listen, I ain't touching this guy unless we got to.
You're right.
You heard me?
You're right.
When we get up in the car, this is what we're going to do. We're going to approach him. We're going to ask him questions. If he's acting suspicious and we ask him to place his hands or pull out his wallet or anything else, we will take precautions to make sure that we're both safe. But
Yep.
we ain't shooting. We ain't beating. We ain't putting nobody's foot on their neck, knee on their neck, knee back to harm them. If we have to place them in cuffs, we will explain to them. If you are resisting arrest, I will put you down on the ground. I will cuff you. You will be cuffed. I don't care if there's 10 people that show up to help you get cuffed or 20 people. You will be cuffed.
Right.
But you have to understand, if I'm telling you all of this ahead of time, and if you choose to, I'm not being arrested, well then, bro, something wrong with you.
Right.
Now you want to say, well, why are they trying to gang up on me? Because we told you, place your hands behind your back.
Right.
If you got a warrant on you, don't can't try to act like you ain't got the warrant.
Right.
Just go, yes, sir, that's me.
Yeah.
Let me go with you.
Yep.
I'll put it out, whatever the case is.
True.
But if you sitting there trying to on me and trying to harm me, of course I'm going to take you down. But if you just walk up on somebody and your first thing to do is to smash their face into a glass,
right,
or your first thing to do is to want to harm them before, like the gentleman, even though his kids was in the car, 7 shots in the back.
Yep.
7 is fine. For what reason? Because you felt that he was in his car, so it was the purpose, he was reaching for something. His kids are in the car. What was he reaching for?
Right. Look,
and no weapon to be found.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you paralyze somebody and you get to still go out there and protect and serve.
Yep. Listen, I got to tell you something. I have a couple of things that I can share with you after this, because when that actual incident that you just brought up happened, I actually know somebody from that area who is in media, news media. And so I actually, from the local news, so I actually had some of the points about what actually happened on the ground before the major outlets happened. And I'm not saying that to brag. What I'm saying that for is because when I got that information, and like I explained this to my people a couple weeks ago, is that I wasn't telling them that because I wanted to be special. I was telling them that because I wanted them to know that I had informed things that I am posting. And also that obviously the person that I know knows that I'm not big enough yet in this realm to really do any damage to him letting me know what was happening. And so everything that I said to them, and you can look back to my post from the day that happened, from the Sunday, you can look back to my post and you will see that I put information out that was pertinent to that situation before anybody had said anything on any major network. And I had people denying it, just saying I'm just trying to say, to just say something. I have no clue. I have no facts. I have no whatever. Now none of those people follow me anymore.
Well, listen, when you put a beacon of light in darkness, all shadows will begin to bend.
Right.
and to go away.
I mean, I'm literally 100%. And I think because I'm entering this format so late in my, I'm 51, be 52, and because I'm entering it at this age, I feel that it's my responsibility to anything that I post or anybody that I have on as a guest has to be people that are respectable, have valid opinions, have what's the word I'm looking for? To be influential in various ways, so that they're not to question. You know what I mean? Not that you can't question me, but that you have less questions. In other words, and when we engage in that conversation, I'm able to give you supporting sources and information so that everybody understands right away that everything's going to be good with what I'm going to share with you.
So I tell people this all the time. Like when someone says, "Well, slavery was 400 years ago," okay, and when has it stopped? I saw film footage, live footage of somebody taping. Because this is what we do. We're in a cell phone age, so everybody tapes everything.
Mac, hold on 1 second for me. Hold on 1 second for me.
Okay.
Just 1 sec. Everybody who's watching, I forgot to tell you this again. People come in and out. You're listening to. If you're just listening, you're listening to Mac 357. If you're watching, you're seeing Mac 357, radio host of the Evening Experience. Awesome brother, awesome influential brother. He gives back. He does this thing real good. He brings so many entertainment industry folk, rather singers, or bands, or actors, activists, artists. It just brings people, and he uses his platform to really love into the community, man. And so I hope that if you're watching this later, you enjoy it. If you're watching now, I hope you're just gonna give him mad love. I'll keep him posted up on my site throughout the week, and just please give him love. Check out his show every Thursday at
From 7 to 9.
from 7 to 9 every Thursday. You got to check him out. He's just a freaking amazing brother, and I again, I'm gonna be calling him like 500 times a week so that he can help me guide my show the proper way. So between God and Mac 357, I'm gonna be all right. All right. So hey Mac. So tell me, can you tell my folks who you got coming up on your show in the next couple weeks or so?
There's a few different major celebrities that are going to be popping in now, but I don't like to put out.
Okay, all right, okay, no spoilers. All right.
If you want to tune in, you'll hear this. Once again, this is Mac 357. This is the Evening Experience radio show from 7 to 9 every Thursday. It goes down. It is an incredible show. Take the opportunity, tune in, watch, because you never know who's going to be on there. And once again, the Thursdays will never be the same. Hey.
That's the truth. Mac 357, he does it for real, man. And I'm gonna learn for real. Before you go, is there anything you want the folks to know as far as what role they should, what role maybe they should play in this whole environment this horrible environment that is being promoted?
Be one that is learning, that you learn about what you're taking on. Follow the laws as it's meant to be. Don't antagonize, don't threaten, don't disrespect someone, and expect for you to be able to. Now, you may be angry, you may be upset, but that is valid. But use your anger in peace, and use your mind in haste to make sure that you come out of a situation better than you went into it. Do not take the opportunity to put yourself in harm's way if you don't have to.
Amen.
It's that we are back in a time when my parents were alive, when their parents were alive, where people are going around and killing African Americans and thinking it's okay, and that we have no recourse or no voice to say and do something about it. We do. Um, God bless everyone. Take the opportunity to grow in life. Don't stay stagnant. You're bigger than where you live. There's more going on out in the world. Take the opportunity to be a part of it, and do your part when you can. Help people to be okay. It's no problem in lending a hand or lending your voice, or if you can, lend your wallet. But the process is do the things in which you need to do in life to make sure that your fellow man's okay.
That's
each
right.
one teach one. I've said or done anything that can help you today. I hope I did.
You definitely did.
When you get the opportunity, look out for the show. But I will tell you some of the people, since you said some of the people, I will tell you some of the people I've had
Yeah, you're hearing it right now.
Funk Master Flex has been on my show. DJ Self has been on my show.
Yep.
I've had Robert Picard, Emmy Award-winning actor. I've had Peter Paros. He's been on a lot of different shows.
Yep.
I've had Miguel Diaz. I've had Darren D. Henson. I've had Grammy Award-winning group, one of the group members from Full Force,
Yep.
Paul Anthony on the show.
Yep.
I've had Lisa on the show.
Yep.
I've had, not on and on and on.
Truth. Truth. I try to tell people you the truth.
Terry Woods on this week, who's an amazing author.
Nice.
He's been around for God knows how many years as an author.
Nice.
But like I said, check us out 7 to 9 every Thursday. Instagram Live. The evening experience on everything except for Twitter. Twitter, you can give us all the letters, but with the evening expert on Twitter.
And again,
and a couple of groups on Facebook that you can go into. The Evening Experience 1111, which is a group that's here on Instagram, and the Evening Experience is another group. So,
well, I'm
out on all
you
platforms. We're here with Live Lit. Let's get it. Hey.
Yeah, you know I'm going to be tuning in and signing on to every single thing you got out there. You are a true teacher and a lover of people, and I appreciate you so much. I wanted to tell you one thing that's kind of silly before you leave. Please forgive my glasses. They're not shade glasses. I'm not trying to be cool. I told you I have the battle with Lyme disease, and so I have these intense headaches. And so staring at the screen, I have to wear, these are prescription glasses. They have to keep them dark so that it doesn't make the headaches intensify. So I just wanted to let you know that, because a lot of people say that, like, why are you wearing those glasses? You trying to be cool on TV?
As blind as I am, I'll be the last to tell somebody about you need to wear them glasses. I wear mine.
Hey, well, let me tell you something. You ain't as blind as some folk. Let me just say that to you. Believe it.
I appreciate that.
All right. I love you, man. Thank you for your time. I hope that we can chop it up again soon. I'm going to be tuning into you, no doubt, no doubt. And I hope we can have you again, sometime in the future, man. It'd be awesome. All right? Okay. Much love to you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So you guys have been listening to Mac357. He's just an awesome brother. Blessing, man, that he chose, because like he said, he doesn't have to come on and do any of these shows. He don't have to do any of this. I hope you guys were able to see him. I didn't see anybody commenting, but I did see numbers flashing back and forth. He is a blessed individual. He loves on people. He takes care of people. He tries to sow into the community. And he's been doing it for a long time, man. And I've learned a lot from him just in the short time that I've been watching his shows. And when I reached out to him, it was so awesome that he turns down stars from going on their shows and doing interviews, and he said yes to me. And I thought that was just a crazy, amazing blessing to have a brother his stature, his knowledge, and wisdom to take part in my little old live stream. So, God is good, man. He directs the path without a doubt. There is no one but him that can make all of this stuff happen so fast as it's happened in my life, and it's just such a blessing. Again, whenever you guys do stop in, please say hi. Let me know that you've been here and so on. Again, I just had Mac357 on. And if you couldn't see him for some reason, blame Facebook. If you did see him, that's awesome. At least you probably heard him, and he had powerful things to say, man. And again, I just appreciate um, I appreciate him uh, giving us some time to speak to folks who watch Food for Action. What I was going to talk about before I had him in on the conversation was I wanted to talk about a couple of people that have been. uh, My daughter said it's called trolling, so I'm very new to all of this still. If anybody doesn't know, I've only been doing this for about 3 months now. It started in the end of July, I think it was. Yeah, end of July or middle of July. Actually, yeah, middle of July. I'm sorry, no, end of June. So literally a little bit more than 3 months now. And when I started it, it was started um, just it was an accident the first show because I had just watched about Ahmaud Arbery, and I had just watched um, wow, the knee in the neck, and I was just floored by the George Floyd scenario, and because of all the things that I've seen in my 51, almost 52 years of life, and I was just crying. I was uncontrollably crying, and I wanted to say something in support of their families, and and just kind of express, a little bit about what myself as a black man, but also biracial, but black, and I wanted to express what I was feeling. And when I went to type, I found that I was not able to. My hand just wouldn't move, and I was shaking and I was crying. So what I did was I breathed for a second, collected the tears, and then I just pressed the record thing for the live. And the next thing you know, I'm just expressing what I was going through, and it birthed this thing called Food for Action, which has been a blessing. I have thousands of followers on Instagram now. I hate that word followers because I don't believe that I'm some kind of something to follow. I believe that the message is something to follow. And But I have like over 4,000 folks in just 3 months. I have a couple hundred on the actual page for Food for Action. I've had thousands and thousands of views of these shows and episodes. Today is the 27th episode. I already have guests like who you heard today, Mac 357, who's a world-known uh, um, radio host and now has the evening experience on Instagram and several other platforms, which I'll be posting again. I have one of the guys from NSYNC coming on. I've got I mean, look, authors and activists, and I've got so many people that God has blessed me with them being interested in this message, in this platform, the way I guess that God has me doing it, and I'm humbly thankful for this opportunity. Now, my point is that I'm very careful with what I do here. I'm very strategic with how I go about posting and and who I speak to. I make sure that I have as many resources as I can find when I'm presenting something to people. I make sure that I have um, uh, um, facts and not fiction. I make sure that I have um, uh, as much um, um, study tools coming from every angle, rather it's quote unquote the right or the left or the neutral or the libertarian or the whatever. I don't research based on a political influence or a political side. I research to find the real answers, to find the real truth uh, behind any subject that either is asked to me or I believe I need to present to you. And so in doing that, it literally takes hours and hours and hours and hours a day, which I obviously have because I have chronic Lyme disease, and so I can't go anywhere. So I'm literally home about 24 hours a day, literally, and except when I have doctor's appointments or therapy. And now, because of your help, I have my enough to get, along with the money that I already had. I have enough to get 3 months worth of these stellate ganglion blocks. Please keep giving, but I have enough for that. So I'm going to be doing those things, which are going to be 40 minutes or so twice a month to do those. And but I say all that because I guess reinforcing the fact that I always make sure that I have substantial evidence or resources to support the things that I say, whether they're said jokingly or not. So, what happened this week is that I posted what was supposed to be kind of silly, um, uh, and it should have been something that made everyone kind of chuckle a little bit. But instead, I had a couple of people who decided that they didn't like what I said. Mind you, the people that said that took that stance, um, those folks engage in conversations with other folks like them demographically, and if we want to break it down racially, where they are literally spewing things that are much more hideous and heinous and whatever else that you want to describe them as. And when they are engaged in those conversations, and then I enter them and I talk to them, and they act like, oh, that's nothing, and I'm talking about saying incredibly racially insensitive things. So my post was something that I just thought of on my own. I was sitting down and I wrote this thing. I said, since all Trump folk believe all things COVID-19 is a hoax, dot, 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 awesomeness, exclamation points. That means there will be smillions of vaccines for the rest of us. And then I put my little tag of my little emojis that I use. Now, anyone who knows me, anyone who's been following me, anyone who has watched any of the episodes knows that that had to be a little tiny bit of comic relief. But apparently, some of those folks that, according to the way they post, they're on the right and not the left, and so they took incredible offense and took it extremely serious. One person went so far as to say that we're not, just because we follow him, we don't all think it's a hoax. We just think they're lies. And I was like, wait a minute. Did the person really give the answer that we don't think it's a hoax? We just think they're lies. So, one is almost kind of a little bit worse than another person. Like if somebody called me a hoaxer, I would be like, what? If somebody said you're a liar, I'd probably be, more offended. So, but anyways, so, but in today's world, those two words, when used by that person that's in office, kind of go hand in hand together. When they use those, hoax, it's a hoax, or it's fake news, or a lie. They all kind of mean generally the same thing. But these folks were, pretty incensed about it, and so I went, talked with them a little bit back and forth, just trying to say, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just not even gonna, hey, I'll see you guys tomorrow on Food for Action. They said a few more things. I didn't answer, whatever. But then I find that two of the people, I call them the two Cocks. There's a Dan and a Charlie Cox, and I don't know. Like I said before, I don't know if they're brothers. I don't know if they're just friends. They just happen to have the same last name, spelled the same way. I have no idea. But at this point, those two people seem to troll just about everything that I post, and I like that. I mean, like I told you guys, I love it. I want to hear from the other side so badly. I want to hear from any extremist. If you're extremely left, extremely right, or extremely in the middle, not giving a dang, I want to hear from everybody. I want to know everybody's opinions and what you're thinking about. You know what your experiences are. I think it's important for all of us to know and be aware of our surroundings, and that means knowing what people think and how people are feeling, and what people are experiencing. That way, we might be able to, at some point, come to a common understanding and maybe eventually a cure to this problem that we are facing that has caused many lives, called racism. It's just crazy. And so I look at the things that people say, and these two guys, they're just just like nonstop trolling, nonstop trolling, and mm, oh, good. Somebody just actually texted me a copy of something that I posted uh, about something that Donald Trump got sued for. So let me tell her thank you. Jennifer Jones, I'm calling you out. Thank you very much for that piece of information. I haven't been able to follow those because I'm live right now, so I haven't followed some of these last things. But uh, let me tell her I'm live. Okay. So, anyways, but these couple of guys, they just I got like this other dude, Randy Keberline or whatever. He said you may want to go back and do a little research on this piece of old news. I love how you post this like you're onto something, which is not what I'm doing. I'm actually what he doesn't know. And people don't take the time these days to read things like I do, and most of my friends do. I read what somebody says. Read for understanding. That's something we learned in elementary school. Comprehension. And so when I read, I'm literally wanting to understand. And so if I don't understand completely, I'll ask questions instead of commenting right away, because you never know if your comment is horribly wrong, which it turns out that most of these guys end up being. But so as you guys know, the things that I'm posting now, part of the Trump, uh, what did I call it? Trump-lematic, yeah. The Trump-lematic series that I'm posting of things that Trump has done or said that may be slightly racist, if not more. But anyways, but I wanted to provide some of these things since it's closer to the election, and there's so many people denying that these things have occurred. So I started back from the 70s, and what they don't realize, because keep on getting these comments about, oh, that's so long ago. What about this or what about that? So they don't understand that I'm actually going to be posting things that he's done and said all the way up to yesterday. And maybe they'll be sad when they see that that's actually what's going to happen, or maybe if they see this show, they'll be sad about what they commented or how they commented. But anyways, I did five so far, just because I wanted, when I saw those comments come in, I wanted to make sure that I put enough of them so that hopefully they would get the point that I'm going to keep on posting and that there's plenty more to post. So, but remember again, I I will make sure. This is my promise to my listeners, viewers, quote unquote followers. I am going to make sure that I always, 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 when I say something, there is backing evidence. There is supporting evidence, supporting resources, supporting tools, uh, um, to aid people if they want to go back and double check. You know, cross check me. This is what I want. I want people to get more involved, and this is how I'm doing it. And so what will happen is that when you cross check and you look at all the sources that I found, and then you try to to debunk those and then try to find your own that argue it, you'll end up finding out that you're just going to find things that back up what I'm saying. And so it's not about being right, it's about being learned. It's about that I take the time to study and learn anything that I don't know. I look into it. I do the research. I read. I'm here to learn and understand and help to create something that's better for us, not to battle people. I don't need to battle anybody. Look, I'm 51 years old, almost 52. I don't need to battle anybody. A lot of people ask me, why don't I, argue these people or just block them? Well, what's the point? If I did that, I'd be defeating my own purpose, which is to make sure that we understand what everybody's views are, that we give everybody an ear, that we listen to everybody's opinions and views and experiences so that we can understand why people are motivated in the ways that they're motivated. What makes people follow hateful concepts and ideals? What makes people engage in name calling and bullying and all that stuff? What makes people think that there's a, a I don't even remember what they call it now. It's so stupid. But my point is that if you're not going to find the cures, we're not going to find solutions unless we are engaged in a conversation and then process the conversation and turn it into action so that we can help others understand and hopefully clear the air and let's start erasing racism. It's funny to me how people have so much to say about things that they don't know anything about. I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to do that to you guys ever, because it defeats the purpose of being here. It defeats the purpose of asking for your attention and asking you to talk to me and asking for your thoughts. Why would I ask you for that if I'm not wanting to learn too? This is not a platform for me to just tell you stuff. I could do it that way, I guess, if I wanted to, but what is that going to achieve? I want people to walk away each time thinking about something that occurred, something that was said, and hopefully they turn it into up to a positive action, food for action. Hopefully they turn it into talking with other people that they know that have hateful motives or racist or bigoted motives. But if you don't, I'm glad you stuck in there. I'm glad you took a few minutes out of your day. No love lost. I'm not going to reach everybody. I knew that when I after the first show or after the first episode, I knew that everybody wasn't going to give a damn because they don't give a damn already. So I'm not jaded. I'm fully cognizant. I understand that most of the ears of the quote unquote opposition aren't going to listen, aren't going to want to listen, all they're going to want to do is bully and try to please, I invite you all to go through the posts that go on my Facebook profile page, OBIE what is it? Capital OBIE. If you just look under Obi Morant, OBIE MORANT. If you look under Obi Morant, you will see all of my posts. Please look at the comments that some people are making. Just read through all of it, and you will see what piece I am trying to engage in, and what utter, just the combative nature. You automatically know who is who the minute you read the posts. The minute you read, I'm sorry, their responses to the post, the comments to the post, you automatically know who they're following, and you understand what way they're leaning, and the divisiveness and the divisiveness. It's just overtly there. I still am baffled, although I probably shouldn't be, on how many people that are responding who are literally 100% diehard Trump supporters, and like he couldn't do anything wrong, yet some of these folks call themselves Christians, and uh, and the only thing that they lean on, and I'm not saying it's bad or good, but the only argument is um, abortion. From what I read in the Bible, a sin is a sin. So you will throw away, disregard all these other sins that guy in the office commits, but yet, if somebody supports a woman's right to choose, then that is looked at as, we can't stand behind that person because they're not a Christian. What? So you can be a hate monger, you can approve and side with racists, you can do racist things, say racist things as a leader of a country, you can say sexist things as a leader of a country, you can be manipulative and divisive as a leader of a country, and those things are sins. You can lie to people on a daily basis, even though we can prove that they're lies on a daily basis, and those things aren't enough for people to those things aren't enough for people to pull away from him. The only thing that the quote unquote Christian group that I'm talking about, because it ain't all Christians, it's not even most Christians. There's a specific right wing Christianity group of folks who believe that the only thing that matters is abortion. That's the only thing. I think abortion is terrible. But guess what? There's a million other things that Trump is doing. And he's not a Christian. We all know that. You can't, listen, I can't judge anybody's life, but what I can do is I can open my eyes, and what you see a person doing, when you see a person and listen to a person lying constantly, when you see a person and live with a person being racist constantly, when you see that a person says they did the most for black people in this world, and other than any other president in the history, what an utter lie that is, because I can tell you factually as a black person that he has done zero for any of us here. Some of the things that he does, look, I got Will Barnes and already doing some trolling. It's cool, love it. But anyways, you guys don't worry. I like these guys being there. But when you have this kind of activity going on for the quote unquote leader of the most powerful country in the world, and now we're looked at as a joke to other countries because of the lack of leadership, when that is what's happening, and he's willing to send troops to fight his own countrymen who pay his dang on salary, I might add. When that is what's happening in the world, and that's who you back, but another person, all you can say is that the person doesn't support not having an abortion. He never said that he wants people to do it. He just is not saying that it's his job or duty to choose for a woman. If a woman has been raped, if a woman has been, it was unplanned and whatever, then he's it's apparently their right to do this. And so if it's their right to do that, and that's what they choose to do for their life, then they have to deal with God about it. And if God thinks that it's a problem, it's not for me or you or anybody on the right or whatever to sit there and worry about it. And you definitely, if you're using that to choose Trump over Biden, you have to be so blind, so deaf, that it's ridiculous. There's no way. It's just it's impossibility. So you're basically, all you're doing is listening to the things that he spews, the rhetoric, and you're listening to that, and you're just going to believe whatever he says, and you're going to just make the reason be abortion. But that's not really the reason. We all understand the reason because we see it in your posts. I, for one, I'm trolling you too. just as you're trolling me. I just don't comment on everything because I don't need to. What's the point in doing that? But I'm looking at your post too. I'm looking at all the hateful people's posts. I'm looking at all the people that are on my page that say hateful things. I'm looking at your post too. And I'm sharing your posts. And I'm sharing the things that you're saying and commenting on other people's posts that appear to be very, very racist leaning. I'm sharing that stuff with folk so that everybody understands who you really are. So while you want to sit around and you want to um, bully me and anybody else for commenting within my posts, while you want to bully or harass anybody else, me or anybody else that comments on my live streams, let me guarantee you, I am knowing you. Um, I got all your the hate monger posts. I have them saved. You can't even get rid of them. I got them screenshotted. I download the videos. I download the memes. Look, I'm no joke right here. I am saving your info, and it's coming up on the next episode. So just keep watching, and you'll be able to experience the stuff that you have the audacity to post. And let me also add that when you are doing this, and amongst your posting with the friends that you know, and let me be very clear, it's a group of all white people. There's no Spanish folk involved. There's no black people involved. There's no other nationality involved. It's usually a group, 99% of the time, of only white folks. Can that tell you something? Does that give anybody a hint when you're passing around the racist leaning jokes and hateful speech? Is there any reason that it's only with other white people that you're doing that with? I wonder. I wonder if there's any significance to that. Because I bet you my life that the only reason that that you're saying those things, thank you, Jennifer Jones. If you're saying the only reason that you're saying those things is because you may have a lapse in judgment or a momentary loss of muscular mental control, and you forget that everybody like me can see and pass around the hateful things that you're saying. So, might want to start thinking about that. And if you don't care, that's cool too, because whatever you say is gonna get around. That is like a bullet point underneath my mission to make sure that nothing racist leaning or hate speak leaning stays hidden. It will be uncovered. And guess what? I already have massive amounts of people that do some of that work for me. I got friends that are true Facebook friends that I know and they know me, and they're literally finding some of these and sending them to me so that I know who's talking this crap. So, I would pay attention if I was you guys. Um, anyways, now the other factor, and I have to be stern about this. I said it earlier. No hate, name calling, casting aspersions, bullying, or anything else is allowed on here. From this day forward, I'm gonna unfriend people that engage in that. I've given this is the 27th episode. I've warned everybody about this for 27 episodes now. And so starting episode 28, if you're speaking that way to friends of the show or contributors to the show or people that just want to pay attention and maybe get something out of the show, or even people that have opposite or opposing views want to say something. Anybody that commits the act of bullying, name calling, or hate speak, those people will be unfriended, blocked, and whatever else. I can't do it to my people anymore. Like I don't care what people do to me, but it's not right for me to, to make those people. And it really hit me again today when somebody was doing that. It was two of the Cox brothers, the two Cox, when they said something to my nephew, who is my family, like literal, real family nephew, and they said something ill to him. C.J. Morant, I apologize that happened to you, and it's happened many times to him too, and other friends of mine. And it's like, I remember some people saying stuff to Michelle Finney and a couple other people, and Christian Carroll, and what I'm telling you again is that That is not allowed on this platform anymore. So if I hear it or see it or hear about it, then I'll unfriend you. And if you control me after that, that's up to you. I don't care, whatever. But as far as still remaining a friend, quote unquote Facebook friend, that part will be over, and it won't be allowed or tolerated on this platform. Before I go, I want to, as I do each week, another story for justice that stories for justice on Instagram. Please follow them. That they put out about Stephon Clark. So on March 18th, 2018, in the late evening of March 18th, Terrence Mercado and Jared Robinette, two officers of the Sacramento Police Department, I hope I said their names right, Mercado Terrence Mercado and Jared Robinette, or Robinet, I don't know, two officers of the Sacramento Police Department, shot at 22-year-old Stephon Clark 20 times while he was standing in his grandmother's backyard. Let me say that again. The two officers, Terrence Mercado and Jared Robinette, Sacramento Police Department, shot at 22-year-old Stephon Clark 20 times while he was standing in his grandmother's backyard. They said they believed he had pointed a gun at them. After an exhaustive search, police only found a cell phone on him. In other words, that means an exhaustive search means that they roamed all around the yards, roamed all around the wherever the property, and couldn't find a dang on gun because there wasn't one. So, anyways, Clark's last moments were filmed by police body cameras, luckily, and by a Sacramento County Sheriff's Department helicopter, which was observing the Clark's movements and directing officers. Police were responding to a 911 call that a man was breaking car windows. The helicopter spotted a man running from one yard and jumping over a fence to the next yard. Officers encountered Clark next to his grandmother's home. In the videos, officers spot Clark in his grandmother's driveway and shout, "Hey, show me your hands! Stop, stop!" Video then shows that the officers chased Clark into the backyard, and an officer yells, "Show me your hands! Gun!" About 3 seconds passes, and then the officer yells, "Show me your hands! Gun, gun, gun!" before shooting Clark. Footage shows officers shot the last 15 shots after Clark was already on the ground. He was on the ground, 15 shots extra. The officers only identified themselves after firing the shots. The officers identified themselves after firing the shots. Other officers arrive on the scene within 2 minutes of the last shot. One yells out, "We need to know if you're okay. We need to get you medics, but we can't go over to you to get you help unless we know you don't have your weapon." She then says, "Let's have the next unit just bring a non-lethal in case he's pretending." Clark remained unresponsive on his stomach, and officers do not make contact to handcuff him until more than 5 minutes after the last shot was fired. As more officers arrived, one officer said, "Hey, mute." An audio recording was turned off. They turned off the audio recording. The county coroner's autopsy concluded that Clark was shot 7 times, including 3 shots to the back. The pathologist hired by the Clark family stated that he was shot 8 times, including 6 times in the back. The same report said that the bullet that hit him in the front was likely fired after he was already on the ground. On March 2nd, 2019, the Sacramento County DA announced that the police officers who killed would not be charged and that they had probable cause to stop Clark and were legally justified to use deadly force, even though he had no gun. Police have stated that they are confident that Clark was the suspect responsible for breaking windows in the area prior to the encounter. Stephon Alonzo Zoe Clark was 22. Family and friends say Clark loved his two young sons, who were only 3 and 1 when he was killed, and had a special spark for life. He played football in high school. Assistant Principal Patrick Durant said he was a friendly kid with great manners and a great smile. He dressed stylishly down to his sneakers. He was goofy, he was funny, he was loving. His brother Stevante said he was a playboy, he was smart, he was an athlete. Stephon Clark. And that is another black life gone unjustly too soon. In that, they did not find any weapon. He did not have a gun. He did not have any weapon whatsoever. And he was shot multiple times in the back and in the front. They fired 20 shots at him. 20. And those cops weren't even charged. So we're talking about the Breonna Taylors and the George Floyds and the Ahmaud Arbery's. I mean, there are so many, there are hundreds of these cases. There are cases happening every day, new one yesterday. It might be more, but at least a new one that had a lot more publicity. I mean, this is happening all over the country every single day. And yet people still say, oh, there's no systemic racism. Oh, there's no racism in the police department. Listen, I say it all the time. I love the police. I appreciate the police. I respect the police. The good police who protect and serve and risk their lives every day, that we pay and we put out taxes for. I respect and love those police. But there is an element within most, let me say it again, most police departments of racist and unjust police officers. The police office departments themselves have admitted as much. As a matter of fact, I told you guys before, I did the study that and found that every major metropolitan city in this country, that means your Chicago's, New York's, Boston, Atlanta's, Texas, Dallas, Houston, L.A., Hollywood, New York. It goes on and on. Every major city in this country, their police departments have admitted already on the record. You can do it, Google it yourself. Every major metropolitan police station has said as much, that there is the element within their departments. And I still wonder, and you guys saw that I posted a letter. I posted it a couple weeks ago, and I posted it again a couple days ago. A letter that I have already forwarded to several police departments around the country and their local media, the local media that coincides with those police departments, and I'm waiting to hear what they have to say. But in every other profession that I know, that I'm aware of, when an employee has problems reported, if there's if they maybe come to work drinking or haven't been drinking, or maybe on drugs, or maybe they stole something or whatever, any employee like that, the company takes it within themselves, and they have departments that handle those things. And then a management person or a HR person will then either suspend or fire, but at least strongly reprimand those people. We've seen it of late where employees of different companies are doing the Karen thing or doing different stuff and false accusations and what have you, and those people automatically get fired. So I'm wondering, why in the police departments are they allowed to get several reports of doing abusive tactics towards black and brown folk, and yet they're never dealt with internally? There'll be reports. Sometimes they even hide the reports, don't make them public. It's happened. So you've seen it lately in the news, and I'm wondering why those police departments don't just get rid of these employees, these government tax-paid employees. that are supposed to be protecting us and creating good relationships with us. Instead, there is that element that is abusing us, abusing the privilege of being a police officer. And I don't understand why the police departments don't deal with it, so that the police departments will then have better relationships with the communities. It's a no-brainer. It's like it just seems to me that that would just be something that people would want to do. Your departments, just to save face, even, as ignorant as that might sound, just to save face, the police departments would want to, when they see that somebody has a report about being abusive or harassing, to anybody, not just black and brown folks, but to anybody. When you see the person has a report once or twice, that should be suspension. Uh, if it happens where it really injures someone, that should be firing without pay. That there should be no other chances. If you're abusing your power as a police officer, and by abusing people or killing people, uh, and you still keep your job, I've never I can't say I've never heard of it, because it's been happening to us for years. You guys, white folks, you're just seeing it. And then again, anybody who thinks that I hate police, I don't. I love police. I love the police, the good police who protect, serve, and create great relationships with the communities that they serve in. Those police are awesome. High fives, hugs, much love. It's the bad element. It's that element of police that are killing people. It's the element of police that are abusing people, harassing people, black and brown people, every single freaking day. Those police need to get it out of here. And I'm telling you that all police departments will be held accountable for this stuff. Because if you're not gonna get rid of the element, then you see what ends up happening. You see it. And then you have somebody sitting in the office that definitely feeds into that, like a dang on dictator. It's unreal. It's unreal, but it is real, and that's the freaking sad part. So, but anyways, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. And again, please, when you're engaging in conversations, anywhere underneath the post that I create or the videos that I create, please respect the other folk that you talk to. Make points with each other, whether you agree or disagree, peacefully. If you engage in anything other than that, I don't care if you're with me or against me, you're going to be blocked. I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. I can't. It does nothing good for the experience of Food for Action. It does nothing good for anybody involved in those conversations. And if somebody is acting that way towards you in a conversation, do like Christian Carroll did today. He tagged me in a post right away, letting me know that something, they want an opinion on something or whatever. And it turned out to not be an ugly conversation, but you never know. And so he tagged me. I saw it. I got the alert, and then I went in and checked it out. And so this is what I want to encourage people to do. Please engage in the conversation. It is an essential conversation to have at a time like this. It is essential that we black folk and brown folk talk to our brother white folks and sister white folks, and it's important and imperative that our brother and sister white folks open up the ears. Don't just talk at us, but open up your ears and listen to the plight of black and brown people. We are experiencing something here that is it's horrible. It's unfair. It's unjust. It's disrespectful to our livelihoods and our life. Our lives are being lost because of a systemic hatred, a systemic evil, and that's rooted in this country, and we have to get rid of that. Look, the civil rights fought to get out of it. Harriet Tubman and all the other folks like so many that I mean, we got a couple folks left still that are still fighting the good fight. But and then there's me now joining the fight, and there's other folks that are activists, and we have other white folks that are joining in, helping us with the fight. But we need more. We need we need. I don't know if I need to do a telethon or something. We need more white people engaged in fighting racism, hatred, systemic racism, violence against black folk, brown folk, youth. We need you to step to the table. Stop just sitting there. Don't fold your arms and kick back because you believe that you're not a racist and so you're just going to watch the fight. Let's not do that. Let's engage. We're hurting. I'm hurting. Black people are hurting. And if you are following God's law, who says, love your neighbors as he loves you or me, then you would be helping us. You wouldn't be hurting us. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in to Food for Action, episode 27. I love you all. Thanks again to Mac357. You guys, please check out the evening experience on Instagram, and I think he's going to send me all of the other links. But Instagram, you'll find him at Mac357. You'll find the evening experience at the evening experience. So awesomely easy to find. And you've seen those links. I've had them up all week. So please do me a favor. Check him out. Mad knowledge, mad loving guy. I appreciate you, brother, if you're watching still. And I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and your Sunday to join the conversation. It was awesome. Anyways, everybody, I love you guys. Take care of yourself and each other. Love on each other. I'll see you Wednesday. Same black time, same black channel.